Last week on this show, we covered the sentencing of Roger Stone, who is perhaps the most undeserving of all the many casualties of the Russia collusion hysteria. Stone received more than 3 years in prison. He'll be over 70 when he gets out. Officially, his crime was lying about emails that were themselves entirely harmless. From the first day, Stone's prosecution was a transparent political hit job. Washington wanted him imprisoned because, for 40 years, he was Donald Trump's closest political advisor. Amy Berman Jackson is the federal judge who oversaw the case. She was appointed by Barack Obama. She is an openly partisan Democrat. She's made no attempt to hide that. Jackson allowed the foreman of the jury to lie about her political background, which in a normal court of law would have disqualified her immediately. But Jackson let her stay and then defended her. Then Jackson herself lied about the case. She claimed that Stone had been prosecuted because he, quote, covered up for the president, when in fact the charges against Roger Stone had nothing to do with that. Amy Berman Jackson is a disgrace to the judiciary. It's frightening that in a country like ours, she has power, and she does. We said that on this show last week. Today, during a hearing, Jackson attacked us, and once again, she lied as she did it. Jackson accused the show of, quote, invading the privacy of the foreman of the jury, when in fact, the juror herself has spoken publicly and revealed her own identity. Many media outlets published her name, including the New York Times, the Washington Post, and CNN, all of which, of course, Jackson approves of because they're on her side. Then Jackson accused the show of, quote, harassing the jurors, even encouraging violence against them. That is insane. Of course, we did no such thing. Finally, Jackson called our criticism of her, quote, antithetical to our system of justice, end quote, which proves that not only is Amy Berman Jackson corrupt, dishonest, and authoritarian, and she is definitely all of those things, she also has no sense of self-awareness whatsoever. Jeanine Pirro hosts Justice with Judge Jeanine, and she joins us tonight. Judge, thanks so much for coming on. Can you imagine a federal judge in the middle of a very serious proceeding, and the question at hand was, does Roger Stone deserve a new trial because of the partisanship of the foreman of the jury? In the middle of that, lashing out with political attacks against a TV show that she went after the president by name. What does that say about her?
Well, you know, Tucker, I sat as a judge in criminal felony cases as well. This is federal. But I'm stunned at her behavior. Number one, any judge who concerns herself with the media or the press needs to get a thick skin, or at least wear a few robes to make it look like she has thick skin. All right? She should not be worried about you or anyone else. She's got a job and she needs to stay in her lane. But everything that you've said about her is accurate and right on point. She is a judge who should be outraged that a four-person on a jury that convicted a man on 7 counts may have lied to her, may have exhibited such jury bias that it would demand a new trial. But no, she's mad at you. She's mad at the president. She wants to have a hearing on whether or not there was jury bias in private because she doesn't want anyone intimidating the jury. Well, here's the bottom line. The juror, four-person herself, outed herself. We know that she is an anti-Trump person. She has posted many things about Donald Trump, about Russia, about Roger Stone at least once, and she is a partisan. She ran for Congress. This is the kind of stuff that we seek to find out in a voir dire. This judge should be outraged not at anyone other than that juror. And the fact that she decided that she wouldn't recuse herself when she has already prejudged the issue by saying this jury acted with integrity and intelligence, how do you know, Judge? Have you spoken to that juror? Do you know what was posted? Do you know how she answered the question? What do you know about her background? Did she want to get on that jury? And everything in my gut tells me she wanted to get on that jury and denied doing anything that was partisan. Shame on the judge.
Shame on the judge. She should be impeached. She's corrupt. She's out of control. And she's also muzzled Roger Stone, taken away his First Amendment rights. He's not allowed on this show. She's threatened to send him to prison if he defends himself. Meanwhile, he's being attacked daily by CNN. Right. How can that happen in this country? I don't understand.
We've never heard of anything like this. We've never heard of a defendant who has been convicted and sentenced and then told he can't talk, his lawyers can't talk, we'll put him in jail. She is a partisan. She is the one who put Paul Manafort in solitary confinement when everybody I know in the legal community was this guy. Why is he in solitary confinement? She is a partisan. Everything that she has done, including her refusal to recuse herself, not even having a hearing about that, criticizing you when she should be worried about the fact that she is a juror foreperson who's out there saying, I am upset that the Attorney General decided that this sentence should be less. The sentence, Miss Hart, has nothing to do with you. You decide the facts. And this judge is on the wrong side of justice in this case. She has aligned herself with someone who may have disrupted justice in a courtroom. And she has prejudged it and taken the side of that person. It's wrong. It's wrong. And her whole history.
Terrifying that someone like that sits on a federal bench. Roger Stone needs a pardon, and let's get past this. That's my view. Judge Jeanine, great to see you tonight. Thanks so much.
Good to see you. Bye.